Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is the video version of our Tech Guy podcast from Saturday and Sunday, November 13th and 14th, episodes 717 and 718. And if this does not begin in a moment with a unboxing of a Galaxy Tab, then nobody's listening. Enjoy. So, here we go. We want to welcome everybody. Leo Laporte here. I came in a little early because I knew there'd be some gifts in the mail for me. And indeed there were, and we're going to do a little unboxing. The Galaxy Tab has arrived. This is the Sprint, as you can see, the Sprint edition of the Galaxy Tab. T-Mobile had theirs out earlier. Sprint's goes on sale Sunday the 14th, tomorrow. And, you know, I'll be honest, normally, as you know, I buy the gear that I review. I did buy the Boxy Box, the Windows Phone, all that stuff. I was a little reluctant to buy this. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. So let's, you know, maybe I will. Maybe I will. I wanted to get to know it first. First of all, thicker than I would have thought. But I guess that makes sense. It kind of feels like a giant phone in my hand. Let me compare it. This is the Droid X. This is the 4-inch Droid X. So when Steve Jobs says, yes, it's half the size, would you run up and get my iPad? It's in my office. Thank you. It's half the size of the iPad because of, you know, diagonal. It's the same 16:9 as the Droid X, but it's also, you know, twice the size as the Droid X. So in a way, you know, you've got half, 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 right? Welcome. Now you can stay in touch with on-the-go movies, TV, games, emails, ebooks, Android Market apps. So it really is kind of like a big Android phone, isn't it? They were able to do white. Let me compare it to. Thank you very much, Alex, whose hair looks fabulous, by the way. Very very nice haircut you got. Alex and I met at the hairdresser yesterday for Twinsies Day. So there, you know, and actually this, whoops, wrong phone. This actually is a good kind of comparison. Let me pull back just a little bit of sizes, so you can see. Just as I think Steve was accurate. You know, half the screen real estate of the iPad is the Galaxy Tab, and then half again for the Droid X. Now the Droid X, I've said several times, and others have said this as well, is almost too big. It's just the right size. Remember, we were talking on Twig. It just fits in your breast pocket, and they mocked me because they said nobody puts their phone there. Well, I do. You know why nobody puts their phone there? Because everybody wears T-shirts. But I'm an old-fashioned guy with a collared shirt, buttoned down and everything, and so that's just the right size for that. Obviously, this is not going to. I don't. You know, is it even going to? Is it even going to? Yeah. Is it going to fit? It'll fit there. That fits. I mean, it's a little weird. But if somebody shot you in the thigh, you'd be set. I'm sorry. I apologize profusely for what I'm about to do. It's a Costanza moment. Is that what you said? Thank you very much. Oh no, it does fit, and I could see myself walking around. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. That's a Galaxy Tab in my pocket. Yeah, I'm pretty hip. Pretty with it. All right, so obviously you're not going to carry it in your pocket. You might carry it in your European carry-all. That'd be about the only thing you could carry that in. Let's see if they gave it any juice. Take this off. I think I just displayed probably key information to those of you who were able to read barcodes upside down. There is a phone number associated with this, I see. I don't think it takes phone calls. So just briefly, there's the headphone jack. There is a microphone on there. Digital by Qualcomm, so it's CDMA. On the bottom, 30-pin connector, a la Apple. That's interesting. I'll have to look and see what. 2 speakers. On the side, micro SD card slot. I don't know if it comes populated or not. Volume control. And the on-off switch. Let's push the on-off switch, see what happens. Maybe I have to charge it. Phones nowadays almost always come with enough juice to kind of use them for half a day to activate and so forth. This seems... Oh, there it is. Sprint's selling this, I think everybody is, for $3.99 with a 2-year deal. As I do that, I'm going to unbox the rest here. Comes with the USB power cable. What is that? Oh, look, that's pretty. It comes with an SD card, apparently, built in. You know, it feels like a... what is that? Oh, I see. The power adapter goes in there. All right. That's just a USB plug. Cabling's pretty straightforward. It's got a... it's got the 30-pin connector. There is no... It's interesting. There is no micro USB on this, as far as I can see. I have to ding it for that. Let's slide unlock. It is almost fully charged. On-screen keyboard set. You know, I kind of like the size of it. The screen is very legible. The screen is very, very legible. Tap any text field to open keypad. All right. I'll put swipe on here probably, but although this is big. Makes a little weep sound when you know, because it's so much bigger, I think that's fine. Internet connection, connect to Wi-Fi, check. So it does have 3. Let's add the... actually, I'm going to add my own network here. We'll just type in the password. Oh, I hear the bell ringing. Oh, I hear the bells. Why don't I hear... Ah, now I hear it. Hey, Sherman Oaks.
Hey, Leo, good morning.
Luis, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am logging into my Samsung Galaxy Tab for the first time. That's how I am.
Hey, is it your birthday, Leo?
It feels like it. It's not, though.
Oh.
These are all just review things. Use Google Location. Yes. I agree. Yes. GPS or Skyhook-like Wi-Fi. Set up Google account. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's go back here. I'm going to set up Exchange Active Sync because
Laporte, the tech guy,
that way I get the calendars.
From Premier
you know what? I kind of like this. I may have to change my tune on this. I know it got very mixed reviews. I like the big screen. What we'll have to see is how things scale. So push. 3 days. Send email from this account by default. Sync contacts, sync calendars. All right. So this is one of the nice things about using an Android device. Is you just enter one thing and
Leo
it's...
Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Networks.
This comes with a Kindle. This is good. I mean, these things are all too small, right? I'll probably put that alternative. You know, I kind of like how this looks. What version of Android? That's a good question. 2.2.
You ready, Leo?
Yeah.
You're up.
Well, a good day to you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, and it's time to talk about computers and the internet and cell phones and camcorders and MP3 players and home theater and all the stuff, all the wonderful stuff that's changing our lives and causing us to tear our hair out. And this is where we do it. And I invite you to call and let me know if you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, if you want to talk a little bit. Facebook tomorrow, or I guess Monday, is going to make a big announcement. Some people say they're going to do a Gmail killer, Facebook mail. Do you want a Facebook mail address? How'd you like that? They recently bought the domain fb.com. Can you imagine? I mean, Leo at FB. I like it. Leo at FB.com. Actually, it probably would be my Facebook name, wouldn't I? This would be a good time if you haven't yet claimed your Facebook name to run out and get it. You can go to facebook.com/username and pick a name. Now, obviously, every name has to be unique. So, for instance, I couldn't get Leo Laporte. Somebody's got that. There's another Leo Laporte, I guess, or somebody posing as me. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. I think I got the Leo Laporte, which is fine with me. And I presume that I'm just guessing that if Facebook does launch an email program, an external email service on Monday, that will be the name that you'll have. It'll be theleolaporte@fb.com. So now would be a good time to, if you haven't snagged a Facebook username, you can only do it once. Maybe you could do it once and you can change it once, something like that. So think, little grasshopper, before making the change. They got FB.com from the Farm Bureau. You know, we're on, one of the stations we're on is in Los Angeles, which is, of course, a known farming community. And the Los Angeles station we're on is KFI. It's actually the mothership. It's where the show started. That stands for Farm Information. It was a farm channel when it first started. That's how old that station is. It was still orange groves, mostly, in the Southern California area. I don't know. FB.com was the Farm Bureau. Now, the Farm Bureau is mighty upset because they apparently sold FB.com to a unknown bidder, and they're mad. They're mad because if they had known it was Facebook, they would have gouged them. But they couldn't gouge them because it was a third party that buys domain names. Well, if you're Yahoo or Google or Facebook or Apple, you don't. Steve Jobs doesn't call you up and says, how much do you want for that domain name? Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, this is Mark from Facebook. You know, we thought we'd like the FB domain. How much you want for that? Because you're going to say $1 billion. So he gets some independent company, says, yeah, we got a little company, just a small startup company. Yeah, it's what is it? Freeboonies.com. I don't know. And they'll give you $52 for the FB.com. So the Farm Bureau is all mad because they got fooled. They couldn't gouge them. How much did they pay for FB.com? I don't know. I mean, they were smart. They got it. They must have gotten it very, very early on because it's a 2-letter domain. How many of those are still around? So, but they probably paid $25, $30 a year for that. So it's not like I want $1 million for that money. So get ready. I think this is going to happen Monday. FB.com, and this would be a good thing for you to do is to make sure you've claimed your name. Facebook.com/username. You know the name Paul Chambers? Well, he's an internet celebrity. He missed his plane in London. So he tweeted. He was kind of angry. So he tweeted, well, he shouldn't have done this. He tweeted, I'm going to blow up Northern England's Robin Hood Airport if they don't reopen in time for my flight. I guess it was closed because of weather or whatever. Shouldn't have done that. Police and prosecutors took that pretty seriously. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can say this. Here's the message. He posted it on January 6th. By the way, how many followers does he have? Dozens. Oh, he had. So, you know, a few dozen people saw him say, Robin Hood Airport is closed. You've got a week and a bit to get it together. Otherwise, I'm blowing the airport sky high. Okay, that was stupid. That was stupid. It was snow. It was a snow closure. However, an airport duty manager browsing through the internet 5 days later found it, forwarded it to his station manager, and even though the threat was deemed non-credible, it was passed on to the police. 1 week later, Chambers is arrested, questioned. In the case file, it says there's no evidence at this stage there's anything other than a foolish comment posted on Twitter as a joke for only his close friends to see. But he was charged, and he was convicted. On Thursday, British Judge Jacqueline Davies ordered him to pay £2,000, $3,225 in prosecution costs, in addition to a £385 fine. British actor Stephen Fry and several other celebrities have tweeted Chambers. Fry said, "Whatever they fine you, I'll pay it." Chambers has lost his job, which is even more significant. But here's the interesting thing. Within 2 hours of this court decision being announced, over 5,000 people on Twitter have posted exactly the same tweet. I'm going to blow up the Robin Hood Airport with the tag, "I am Spartacus." Remember the movie Spartacus? And they're looking for Spartacus, right, with all the other gladiators. And Kirk Douglas is there, and he's Spartacus. And he says, "Who's Spartacus?" He stands for, "I'm Spartacus." And then all the other slaves stand for, "I am Spartacus." "No, I am Spartacus." So this is a little "I am Spartacus" revolt on Twitter. In fact, it was one of the trending topics worldwide on Twitter. Hard to say it. It was one of the I'm going to macho it up. Trending topics worldwide on Twitter. I am Spartacus. I wonder if it's still, I have to look, see if it's still there. I only follow the, let's go to the United Kingdom trending topics. I only follow the San Francisco, my local stuff. No, it's gone off. It's gone off, I guess. But if you search for "I am Spartacus," you'll see a bunch of tweets. I think this is kind of an interesting revolt. I mean, the guy's kind of a prat. I mean, to use a Britishism, to post that. Some of the people are actually having some fun with it. Dr. Samuel Johnson, the famous 17th century British journalist, yells, "Order! Robin Hood's port is closed. 7 days hence, I shall run you through with a pikestaff. I am Spartacus." And then a lot of other people have retweeted the original threat. I guess that kind of really, puts it in its place, right? In fact, people are still doing it. Some of these are minutes ago. So I guess it's still going on. And some are pretty funny. And some of them are pretty profane. So I just, interesting. I don't know. Should he be fined for the tweet? I think they take that stuff pretty seriously, and I think rightly so. He was fined £385, but then also had to pay court costs for the prosecution. That's, I guess, British law. I am Spartacus. I like that part of it. But on the other hand, I'm not sure I'd want to stand up for the guy. I mean, yeah, it's too bad he lost his job, but come on. You don't tweet that stuff in public. That's basically in public. What's the phone number? 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk. I'd love to hear from you. 888-827-5536. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's next. I am Spartacus.
Yeah, I am Spartacus.
No, I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
It doesn't take a tech guy like me. You don't have to be an expert to back up your pictures and other important files on your computer with Carbonite Online.
Man, those 2 minutes in the first segment makes
that goes fast. Please do me a favor. Start your
my gosh.
right now.
Well, and Trevor said for the PPM,
email address, create a password, and then
that
use my
he has. I don't know if
did
he share that research with you. He's got from the PPM.
Carbonite takes care of it.
No, I just overheard it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. One of the things is say, don't tease. Don't go get right into. Don't like start up with here's my phone number. Here's what he said. People tune out right away. You got to immediately grab them with content.
You get unlimited backup.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it does make sense. I mean, it's a little weird for me because I'm used to saying here's what I do, here's what the show's about, here's the phone number, but all of that stuff. He's right. It blows people away. And then he get some really good information about teasing.
15-day trial right
You know,
now.
concrete teasing and stuff.
Carbonite.com. You don't even need a credit card.
Yeah, the world is too fast nowadays.
People have
If
no
it's not to the
time.
point,
People have no
change.
time.
You got to back it up to get it back.
Well, this is, you know, I'm actually liking this a little bit better than I thought I
All we
would.
do on this show is talk about gadgets and gizmos, and I'm sure
I'm always a big fan of your hour one monologue.
Right.
it's the iPhones.
I wish at least hour one, segment one, was still the same length.
That's
what
all
I
right.
do.
can live with it.
Gazelle 'em. I gazelle 'em. Sell your gadgets. Gazelle.
So
the
here's the
gadgets at
question. What
gazelle.com.
does
They will buy or
Angry
recycle
Birds look
the
like
item
on
for you.
here?
Here's how it works. You go
Right?
to gazelle.com. You find
Isn't
your
that the
item.
question?
There are 20 different
So
categories.
let's get.
Hundreds of
Oh, this
different
is
items.
interesting. It slides
They'll
this
give
way.
you an offer.
I
based
kind
on
of. It's
condition.
very
Ship it
pretty.
to
It's a
Gazelle
beautiful
for free.
screen.
Pay the shipping. In fact, you can fill up a box to pay for the whole
I
thing.
mean, I think the screen is gorgeous.
Check, PayPal, or donate it to charity.
This is better than now that I'm holding it in my hands. This is better than I thought it was.
iPhones, in some cases even up to 400.
It's smaller than the iPad, but not.
It's easy, fast, safe, and environmentally
But it's kind of. It's got. Well, let's put Angry Birds on it. That's going to be the final test.
Find out what your gadgets are worth. Gazelle.com.
It will play Flash video. Yeah.
Try it now.
Oh, I have to add my Google account. Oh, I wish I didn't have to sign every time. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, me too. What's your Wii Rule handle? My Food Saga. Good. I'll add you. Yeah, I like the quests. They've kind of kept it alive. Yeah, that was a real pain. Did you lose a lot of stuff? To get out, yeah, because you had to download it. Right. Yeah, my mom. A lot of people forgot their pets. Jerry Purnell was really bitching because he said, "I don't know why my pet." Jerry, you ought to know better. You ought to remember your password, Jerry. They needed to do something. Yeah. Creepy stuff, huh? I know. It's a little weird. But, you know, and the unicorn stuff is too unicorny. I mean, there's, you know, do more medieval. Just go with the medieval. That's good. Yeah. I don't really understand what they're up to. Yeah, and the demonic stuff doesn't frankly look that good. My mom was mad about the unicorn stuff. She said the color palette's wrong. It doesn't go with the rest of it, and she's kind of right. No, I did too, and I don't like it. I like the medieval. I want to keep going with the medieval. Go with the medieval, yeah.
Leo, can you see your calls?
Not yet. I'm still booting up.
Wait, you're... Glenn and Upland is the first call, by the way.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo. That's the phone number. Just got in my hot little hands. Boy, this was kind of like Christmas Day when I came into the studio today. Well, not only did Jude and Paula stop by from Orange County to visit us. I mean, that was one thing. But then I also got this Sprint sent me. Normally, I don't do review objects. I buy these things. But I was a little nervous about this Samsung Galaxy Tab, the kind of the iPad killer tablet from Sprint, because I thought, you know, I drank the Kool-Aid. Steve Jobs said, "Oh no, it's a 7-inch screen. No, it wants a 7-inch screen. You either want a small screen or a big screen like the iPad, but not the 7-inch screen." But you know, I kind of like this. Just got it, so I've just started playing with it. But it's a very nicely made, very solid feeling device running Android, running 2.2. I think we're going to see a number of Android tablets to compete with the iPad. It should be very interesting to see how they do. This is prettier than I thought. It's got a gorgeous screen. I mean, it really very legible. I don't know if that's an OLED screen or what, but it's just very, very pretty. I'm going to put Angry Birds on it. That will be the real test. See how Angry Birds works. So I'll talk a little bit about that as I get some time to play with it. And then also the new Boxy Box came in. This is another one of a number of devices, Apple TV, Roku, the Google TV, which I've already talked to you about a little bit, and I'm a little disappointed with, and now this Boxy Box, which we've been waiting for. The Boxy software was much beloved by kind of hackers and people who like to mess with watching TV on their computer. And the idea of the box is you hook it up via HDMI to your big screen TV, and then you can, watch. Well, nothing right now, but someday. This is the problem: is the networks hate these guys. So eventually, this will have Netflix, they say, and Hulu Plus, which is good. They have done a deal with Hulu Plus, apparently. Remains to be seen. It has a browser. Remains to be seen whether you'll be able to go to ABC's site or NBC's site and watch on the browser, because they blocked that on Google TV. The networks are not crazy about this, and I think that's kind of odd. I mean, I'm allowed to watch on my computer, right? I can go to abc.com and watch shows on my computer. I can watch Glee for free on Hulu, can I? Sure. But as soon as I put it on a Google TV or a Boxy Box and watch on my big screen TV, it's still getting it over the internet the same exact way. But they say, no, can't do that. It's not for TVs. It's only for computers. So I'm a little confused. And I think, unfortunately, and maybe that's the intent, it's certainly going to disturb the customers, the consumers who say, well, wait a minute, you're telling me that, so what can I do on this? Well, not much. Oh, well, never mind. Why should I spend $100 to $300 on this thing? The Apple TV, the Roku, those are $100. The Boxy Box, $200, and the Google TV, $300. Interesting, and yet not quite there. I think maybe my top choice for the holidays, and we'll talk as we get closer to the holidays, is I have a feeling it's going to be get the Xbox 360 with the Microsoft Kinect. It'll do all those things, Netflix and a lot of the, you can buy TV shows, rent TV shows, and then once you've done that, you're kind of set, and you don't need these other devices, right? And you get an Xbox 360, and you get the Kinect thing, which is kind of fun. Well, we'll talk more about that, but I got to get some calls here. Lots of nice people calling from all over, including Glenn in Upland, California. Hey, Glenn, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
Very well. How are you, sir?
Spectacular. Fantastic. I have an iPhone, and I love it, but I really, at this point in life, I really need to get on my company website twice a day, 365 days a year. Before 9 o'clock in the morning, and then again at 12 noon.
Okay.
No matter where I am in the world, and I'm trying to find a smartphone that can get on my site and allow me to, just conduct business.
Now, why is the iPhone not working for you?
That's a great question. My first thought is I needed some kind of special app or download.
The iPhone was the first smartphone to have a real browser in it. Before the BlackBerry or the Windows mobile phone, they had these stripped-down mobile browsers that really were inadequate experiences. When you go to your website on the iPhone, it's using Safari. The only thing it's not doing is Flash. Maybe that's part of the problem. What happens?
It's retailer.dishnetwork.com. I use it for business, and when you go on, it's just just text. A whole bunch of text. It won't allow you to get on the actual website to go ahead and sign in.
Oh, that's interesting. So for some reason, now, my suspicion is you're going to have the same problem with all mobile devices. It sounds like the retailer.dishnetwork.com site is not optimizing for mobile and is, in fact, maybe actively doing something bad. There are two things it could be using that would be a problem on the iPhone. One is Flash, as I mentioned. The other would be Java.
Flash and Java, okay.
Yeah. Our chat room says they think, I should go to the website, but they think that the sign-in might be using Flash. Oh, yeah. That's great. The site says IE6 only. Okay. Time to slap around the Dish Network people. We've been trying to get people to stop using IE6. The current version of Internet Explorer is 8. IE6 has been long deprecated because it's insecure, it's old-fashioned, it's not very good. It sounds to me like the people who designed the site have not been keeping up with modern times. So what you need to do, and all the dealers need to do, is go to the Dish Network and say, dudes, we need mobile access to our site.
You might be surprised how little they listen to us.
Yeah. Obviously, they couldn't care less because, I mean, for crying out loud. You're going to have the same exact problem. Now, you can't, if it's a Flash login, you can use Flash. Well, I think they're using ActiveX is what I think they're doing. If they're saying we need IE6, I would guess it's ActiveX, which is a Microsoft-only technology that allows them to run a program. They may do it for authentication purposes, but it means you can only use a Windows PC to log into that site running Internet Explorer 6 or better. I bet you it even says that.
Yeah, I can't get on there with my iPad. I can't get on there with many devices. Typically, just a boring PC laptop is what I need to make it happen, and that's kind of cumbersome if I'm in Vegas or I'm in Germany. I typically don't carry it 365 days.
Give me the URL again. I want to log on with a Mac and see what happens.
Sure, retailer.dishnetwork.com.
Yeah, if the iPhone and iPad, I would understand.
Well, this is the weird thing. The weird thing is that I went to a Best Buy and got on an Evo phone, and I was really excited because I could get on and sign in and do work, but I just went there yesterday, and they did something over the last...
And now it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm going to... Here, I got a Windows... I got enough devices here. Okay, it's not working on a Macintosh. It's loading something, start.swe. I'm gonna guess Windows Phone 7 does work. All right. Well, you have one phone that you can use because it's using Internet Explorer. SWE stands for the Society of Women Engineers. No, stands for I don't know what. Chat room. Do you know what SWE is? I'm going to guess it's using ActiveX, which means it requires Windows. But I do hear, and I will try it. Keep listening. I'll answer off the air. But I'm going to try using the Windows Phone 7 phone. I bet you that'll work. And you know what? There's some good reasons for that phone. I'll talk about it in a bit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I bet you that's it. Huh? What did they say? And you're on what? Chrome. You can't even use Chrome on it. I bet it's ActiveX. Good Lord. Doesn't even work with IE9. Ugh. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. But let's see if it works in Windows Mobile. That may be his solution. Yeah, we're all getting an XML dump is what we're getting. I think it's ActiveX. Of course, we brought the site down by now. Wouldn't work for me in Chrome. It does work in Firefox, huh? Is it retailers? What is it? Retailers.dishnetwork? Retailer singular. And Dish is going, what's with all this traffic? It does work in IE8, okay. Doesn't work in 9. And it looks like it might work on Windows Phone 7. So I think that's what he's going to need. It's really slow right now because you're all going there. I'll try the tab. Don't all go there, please. You're slowing down my ability to do it. Yes, absolutely. No, we got lots of power. Yeah, so it does work. Okay, it does work in Windows Phone 7. So that's the good news. This is Chrome, so I doubt very much it's going to work. There are problems with this. Oh, this is good. It's also got a bad security certificate. Piece of crap. Yeah, it doesn't work on Chrome. It doesn't even pull up a reasonable site. It's Siebel. Works on Safari. And, okay. But, you know, this is for a Windows, for a phone, I think this is probably, this is what that XML is supposed to render, by the way. Yeah. Okay, GamerKaido. So it's a Siebel web engine. All right. Thank you. Ba with the ba ba. I like this. I'm downloading Angry Birds right now. Let's see. Let's see how if Angry Birds is working here. Still starting the download. I'm loving this. I mean, that looks pretty usable. Ah, it's delicious. Tepid. Here come the Angry Birds. I think this is nice. So it's not an AMOLED screen. It's just a very, you know, it's probably an IPS screen, though. It's a very rich, beautiful screen. As soon as I get Angry Birds on here, I'll let you play with it. You guys can play with it, yeah. I love Angry Birds. Oh, my goodness. Lots to talk about in the tech world. New York City Transit Union leader is suing Google, saying, "And you got to tell me who did it." John Samuelson says in court papers the blog is an anonymous blog has repeatedly attacked him with false accusations of incompetence and financial improprieties. He's suing Google. He says, I guess it's a blog or Blogspot, right? So he's suing Google saying, "You got to tell me who it is." I think this is, you know, you're going to see this more and more, but does this guy have the right? I don't know. Is it defamation of character or is it just free speech? Google fights it. Of course, they always do when these kinds of things happen. They're trying to protect your privacy. And a good thing, too, because apparently the government is said to be poised to create an online privacy watchdog. The U.S. Commerce Department, according to the Wall Street Journal, is going to issue recommendations in the next couple of weeks for a kind of privacy bureau. FTC currently regulates privacy, but the laws aren't very tough, as you probably know, to protect consumer privacy. So the Commerce Department doesn't recommend specific legislation, but it does say, look, self-regulation is not working. These companies, including Google and Facebook, aren't doing the best job they can. So maybe we need something a little tougher, maybe some tough legislation, maybe a watchdog. I have to say I'm for that. I think we don't have a lot of privacy, do we? And I think we should have it. We should have the right to choose it anyway. Of course, when you post something on Facebook, you got to remember, you know, as much as people would like to think it's private, it maybe isn't. Maybe not as private as you think. Facebook keeps exposing us. The latest law enforcement agencies, when you are applying for a job, are requiring the candidates to sign waivers that allow investigators access to their Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, Twitter, and other personal pages. More than a third of police agencies review applicants' social media activity during background checks. So let's say you had a Facebook page and you posted some incriminating pictures of you and that beer bong. Even though it's private, when you apply for that job, they're going to say, sorry, you don't get the job unless you give us access to your Facebook account. You know what kids are doing now? It's kind of interesting. Dana Boyd reported this. She's a researcher at Harvard who specializes in youth and how the youth is using the internet. She says the latest thing kids are doing is deactivating their Facebook account when they apply for a job or apply to a college, because deactivation is only temporary. However, if you go through the process and say, I'm going to deactivate, and Facebook says, okay, but you got them, what is it, 2 weeks before it's permanent. During that time, it's not searchable. Nobody can look at it. It's as if it doesn't exist. So you got 2 weeks of privacy. And apparently the kids, they're smart. They're doing that. The other thing they're doing is they're going through their wall and they're deleting everything, starting blank, right? Blanking all the stuff on the wall. That's smart. Deactivate your account temporarily. They're going to go back, but just during the job search process. Maybe the Queen of England should have done that. Did you see? She's got a Facebook page now. Within minutes of the launch of the Queen's Facebook page this week, and by the way, it's not it's a fan page. It's not one of those it's not like, and then we went for a walk and had a sandwich. It's more like, the Queen's going to be going here, she's going to be doing that. However, within minutes, anti-monarchists clicked the like button to join discussions, and there's nothing to stop them from doing that, and then started posting abusive messages about the royal family on the Queen's page. I'm shocked. Or called for abolishing the monarchy, even. It's a difficult... The Globe and Mail in Canada interviewed a guy who specializes in this, Jeff Ansell of Ansell & Associates in Toronto. He's written a book on handling the media when the headline is you, it's called. And he said, this is the problem with social media, and it's true. If you're going to go out in public there, people are going to be able to comment on you. And I don't know if the right answer, I don't know if you're the Queen of England, if you should have a Facebook page, let's be honest. But I don't know if you do, if the right answer is just deleting all negative comments. He says, Ansel says, the difference with social media is its immediacy. All comments appear immediately and are seldom edited. Social media opens a two-way conversation in real time. When a company or organization tries to shut out social media, it speaks volumes. It dismisses comments and concerns raised by people with opinions and tells them loudly and clearly it's not going to listen. We're not going to put up with your criticism. He says, for the Queen and her foray into Facebook, well, she might have been better off not even going there. But now that the site's there, you can't just take down the criticism. Now you have to have a conversation. So something to be aware of. You put up that website, the blog, the forum, whatever. If you're allowing people to comment, you can't just delete the comments. You've got to respond to them. You've got to participate. He said, the lesson for the rest of us is it's inevitable that businesses and their leaders have become fair game for often exaggerated criticism by self-proclaimed citizen journalists who can sit in their basement in sweatpants. Why do we keep getting this bloggers in jammies analogy? I'm so sick of it. Who can sit in their basement in sweatpants and literally cover the globe with a posting that can ruin a reputation and make someone's life miserable. Welcome to the new world of being in public. If you live in public, and I think if you're a public figure, you have to. If you're a business, you have to. You're going to have to accept the criticisms there, and you're going to have to rethink how you deal with it. You have to respond. This is what the Clue Train Manifesto said 10 years ago. It said markets are conversations, that in the new internet era, you've got to be authentic. You've got to talk with your customers. You can't ignore them anymore. And yeah, you're going to get some criticism. Guess what? But I think in the long run, the upside is better than the downside. But it's just hard for people, especially if you're the Queen of England, to take criticism. She probably doesn't get a lot. Maybe she should. Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe that's okay. 8888 Ask Leo. We're going to take some more of your calls and questions. 1-888-827-5536. Are you in this situation? Are you a business ready to set up a website and you're worried about what is the response going to be? You know what? You don't have a choice because there's Yelp. There's Angie's List. There's Google. There's plenty of places for your customers to put up responses whether or not you have a website. It's happening anyway. How do you deal with it? 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. Outside the U.S., you can Skype me. Just use Skype out or any VoIP out. Usually that'll work because it's a toll-free number in the U.S., and so it shouldn't cost you anything. We've already had a call today from Austria. I think we had one from Canada, too. 8888 Ask Leo. The website is techguylabs.com. All the stuff I talk about, links to all the articles and everything, are up there. so that you don't have to write it down as you're listening. Just go to techguylabs.com. This is the Saturday show, episode 717. And when you're there, you've got also a link to a chat room. Great chat room. We'd love to have you in there. And our live video of the show, too. techguylabs.com. Well, a good day to you. How are you? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. And it's time to talk about computers and the internet and cell phones and all that stuff and camcorders and home theater. Our home theater guy, Scott Wilkinson, coming up in just a little bit. All the hot stuff in the world of technology and answer all your questions, too. And that's important, right? I mean, everybody's got questions about this stuff. 88 Ask Leo. That's my number if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, something that's bothering you, want a little hand holding on the information superhighway. Big announcement. Boy, Facebook's just really, in the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, the wine podcaster, crushing it. Hitting it out of the park here. Facebook tomorrow is expected to make a big announcement in the morning, and everybody seems to agree that they're going to do web-based email. So like Hotmail, like Gmail, like Yahoo Mail. Except it'll be Facebook Mail, fb.com. fb.com. Now, this is all speculation. They're going to announce it tomorrow morning, but I think the speculation is pretty accurate. And they might not, if the way it works, and I can see it working this way, is that only somebody who's your Facebook friend can send, it's kind of the Facebook messaging system, and maybe they have some additional ability. I don't know. They have an opportunity here because everybody on Facebook is authenticated to have an email program that has no spam, has no junk. It's all people you know. I mean, that's what Facebook messaging is. I guess maybe they'd have to open it up a little bit more to so you could get newsletters and things. I'll be very interested to see what happens. Facebook is clearly the hot company right now. It's Facebook and Google and Apple and Microsoft, maybe. I have been playing with the new Microsoft phone, Windows Phone 7, all week. Really like it. I realize now what Microsoft's doing with their advertising. The whole thing, the advertising, you've seen the advertising where it's a bunch of people wandering around in a daze staring at their phone. And the little kid goes, really? And the girlfriend goes, really? People say, well, get your head out of the phone. And Microsoft's saying, and it's an odd message if you're selling smartphones, well, our phones aren't that compelling. you get what you need and you get out. You don't spend a lot of time staring at it. And you know what? They're right. This is a completely capable smartphone. It's very nice. It's well done. It's beautifully designed. I like the tiling system. It's easy to understand, easy to use. Has some very elegant features. They thought this through and they decided to do something really very, very different. But I think the appeal of this phone, the new Windows Phone, is going to be, unlike the old Windows Phone, which was really aimed at businesses and geeks, this is going to be aimed at people who don't have a smartphone yet, but who want a smartphone, who feel kind of left out by the iPhone revolution. Maybe they've got a BlackBerry and they're realizing that's not as smart as they thought it was. And so they say, well, I'd like a smartphone that does Twitter and messaging and I could take pictures with. It's got a great camera. I suspect this is aimed at people who are used to using feature phones, the dumb phones, and who want to easily move to the smartphone world. And this is, I think, very much that way. It also has the Zune software and the Zune player on it. So if one of the things I think people do with phones nowadays is this is their music player. It's great for that. You can watch TV and movies on it. You can even play games. It has very credible games, every bit as good as the iPhone, and better in some ways because it ties in if you're an Xbox player with your Xbox Live. So I'm going to say 2 4-fingers up. I guess I could type with my thumbs. 2 thumbs up for this phone. But I think the audience is the people who've never had a smartphone. So if you're kind of saying I want a smartphone, but one that's easy to use. Now here's the negative. AT&T and T-Mobile. It's not Verizon. It's not Sprint. It's AT&T and T-Mobile. Next year, Verizon and Sprint. That's good if you travel because it means this is an international phone. It'll work anywhere in the world. But But if you have trouble with AT&T in your neck of the woods, and we do here, it has the same problems. I thought maybe it'll be better than the iPhone because I'm really in a marginal area for AT&T. No, it's terrible. Drops calls. I want to throw it just as much as I want to throw the iPhone. Every time I make a phone call, I get it. You give me a Starts sounding like Ralph Cramden on the Honeymooners. To the moon. So, if you like T-Mobile and AT&T, good choice. If you don't, you just should wait. I guess you should just wait. I think this is nice though. I like it. I'm very happy with it. What else can we talk about today? Jimmy Kimmel. Unfriend Day. November 17th. 3 days. He said it's Unfriend Day. He says unfriend all the people on Facebook that you don't know and don't like. I don't know, why is he jumping on that bandwagon? He's not saying leave Facebook. He's just saying unfriend people you don't like. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Good. I don't know. It's you see, this is what you're seeing now. Hollywood's jumping on the social media bandwagon, and those of us who have been around for a while, the geeks in the world, we look at it, we go, oh man, just go back to being a TV star. Leave Twitter and the web to us, okay? Marissa Mayer of Google, surprise here. Now, she's kind of a big shot at Google. She was one of their first employees. She ran search for years, and she has been transferred to mobile, which Google is saying is our biggest thing. She has weighed in. This might tell you how scared Google is of Facebook. Because, Google and Apple don't get along that well again. She has weighed in and says that Time Magazine's 2010 Person of the Year should be not Eric Schmidt of Google, not Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, but Steve Jobs of Apple. Marissa Mayer of Google says Steve Jobs of Apple. I think the Chilean miners, maybe. Lady Gaga, possibly. I think Mark Zuckerberg's probably got a pretty good run at it. The Person of the Year. Marissa says, if you look at what he's done for the world in terms of popularizing the personal computer, the iPod, iTunes, iPad, his vision, his focus on users, I think when I look at what it does for Silicon Valley, it raises all of our standards in terms of focus on the user. I'd have to agree with her, actually. I believe that Jobs has already been Person of the Year, has he not? Hasn't Steve been the Person of the Year? I thought he had. No, I guess not. She says, I think it's unbelievable he hasn't gotten it already. You can vote on this. I don't know how much Time's editors will listen to you. But Time.com, they've got a lot of names on this list. Who will be Time's Person of the Year? LeBron James? Nancy Pelosi? I think the Chilean miners is kind of interesting. Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert? Glenn Beck? Barack Obama? The unemployed American. Right now, with 89,000 votes strongly in the lead, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Huh? Why do I think that's the internet? Is that a name? Does anybody recognize that name? What? Maybe is it just me? Chat room, who is that? Recep Tayyip Erdogan? Am I making a... Oh, he's the president of Turkey. Well, there you go. Must be a lot of turkeys voting. I should make a joke about the internet here, but I won't. Lady Gaga, number 2. Julian Assange of WikiLeaks, number 3. Also not widely known, but certainly making a difference out there. Who would you vote for Person of the Year? Let's limit it to tech people. I'm not going to worry about the president of Turkey. I don't know anything about him. But let's Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg? What do you think? 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. Person of the Year is the most important person of 2010. Not necessarily the best person. Like one year it was Hitler. Could be. And sometimes it's not a person. One year it was a personal computer. 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. We're voting in the chat room too. You can go there by going to techguylabs.com and clicking the chat link. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's see. I think was it Jonathan was on yesterday when we had to sign off Jonathan, welcome back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Sorry I didn't get you on yesterday. Oh, he'll have to pick him up. I'm sorry, Tammy. I don't have access to him.
Laporte.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah, afraid I've got a big problem today. I was testing different versions of Ubuntu and spent the better part of a day and trying to resolve a different issue, but they have a utility called the Start Disk Creator, and part of the process for that is that you erase your flash drive and import the new CD image.
So that you can boot up from a USB key?
You bet.
Okay. One of the nice things about these, Linux is an alternative operating system, an open source operating system. It's free. Ubuntu is one of the best versions of it. It's the most compatible, easiest to use. And one of the nice things about Ubuntu and many other Linux distributions, we call them, versions of Linux, is you can install them and run them from an external disk, whether it's a CD or a DVD or a USB key. Run them without installing them. It's kind of nice because it's a good way to try it. And then if you want to install it, you can install it from the USB key. So a lot of people with netbooks do this because there's no disk in a netbook. I presume that's why you're doing this, right, Jonathan?
Oh, that and convenience, and I didn't happen to have a CD on hand.
Right. Who does these days? USB keys is a great way to do it.
I go into the closet and find a CD. But anyway, unfortunately, what happened was I had the CD image file on an external hard drive, a terabyte hard drive, and in the other port, I plugged in my flash drive. And for some reason, I don't know why, but the utility selects the largest disk to erase first. Now, I'd gone through this routine probably 4 or 5.
Oh, you got to be really careful when you're using disk partitioners and formatters.
An error.
And the problem with Linux is it doesn't give you a name like C, D, E, or a letter. It doesn't give you a name you recognize like Windows data. It just says something like D1 S1. And unless you know and are careful, it's very easy to do what I think you did, which is erase the wrong disk.
Yeah, 1 gigabyte tends to look like 1 terabyte when you're going through it pretty quick.
Yikes.
So once I figured out what was going on, I did all I could think to do was just yank the USB cable. And so now...
Oh, I don't know. Now, that might have been a mistake. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see a cancel button or it wasn't responding, and I just did all I thought I could do, and now I have probably about 900 gigabytes of data that shows up as just jumble and noise when I try to open.
So there's a couple of things. First of all, formatting doesn't necessarily... Were you partitioning or formatting?
I was erasing the disk, whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so you probably weren't repartitioning it. Formatting really doesn't erase data. It just rebuilds the disk catalog and marks the disk area available, but doesn't take the time usually to erase the disk. That would take a long time on a terabyte drive. It'd take hours.
Sure.
So they don't do it. One hopes that you haven't erased the data. Now, it's going to be impossible to get it back to a booting drive, but you might be able to get the data off it. I would give up hopes of getting that drive back to the state it was in. But we might be able to get the data off of it.
Yeah, that's all I'm concerned with.
Yeah, that's what you want. The concern I have is that, believe it or not, pulling the plug in the middle of it could have made it unrecoverable. Yeah, it could have made it worse. Because it could have, you're basically telling the drive, you're interrupting whatever's going on. If it's doing it in the right, could be not so good.
Yeah, I tried a few utilities. I tried SpinRite.
SpinRite won't help because SpinRite doesn't know about file systems. You need something that knows about file systems, know what data looks like. And by the way, was it a Windows drive or a Linux drive?
It was a FAT32 format.
Oh, that's good news.
Oh, good.
Well, just because there's a much broader variety of FAT32. FAT32 is the old Windows format. It's not even the new Windows format, NTFS. So there's a real broad variety of file recovery programs and programs that might be able to see data in there. You want an unerased utility. And what you want to do is you want to take that drive and put it in a PC running Windows. You got one lying around?
I can whip one up.
Actually, let me ask the Linux wizards in our chat room. If there's a Linux, which do you have a bootable system of any kind?
Sure, yeah, it's an external drive, so I just have it sitting in a box, waiting to talk to you.
Oh yeah, I would say that you want to. Here's what they would probably do if they were going to be extremely careful: is they'd image that drive so that you have a copy of it, even with all its flaws. Make a bit copy of it, and then maybe try an unerase utility. There probably are some good free unerase utilities available on the Linux side. So I'm not sure. Test Disk is one that they're recommending. TESTDISK. They're recommending in the chat room. That's from cgsecurity.org. It is free. It will rebuild your FAT disk, which is good. If actually it works, it's nice. It works with FAT, NTFS, and ext2, the Linux file system. So that's kind of nice. So it can run under DOS, Windows, Linux, FreeBSD, SunOS, or OS 10. Open source, you gotta love it.
All of them.
Yep, all of them. And a lot of people have recommended this in the past, too. It's a free data recovery solution, cgsecurity.org. And with any luck, your data won't be lost. It'll just be obscured, and this will recover it. It's a good thing to know. Let me use this, Jonathan, as a opportunity just to quickly explain drive errors, because we all have them eventually. And there's hard errors and there's soft errors. A hardware error, like say the bearing in the drive freezes up, or the head gets bent, or the drive platters shatter, or the motor gets hurt. Those are serious errors that can only be fixed very expensively by a company that will go in a clean room environment, disassemble the drive, has all the parts for that drive, can take the platters out or whatever's good out and put it in a new drive, new enclosure, seal it up. All of this in bunny suits in a clean room environment, and then recover it. That's going to cost you thousands. That's the worst kind of drive error, just like a physical failure. Little less worse is if the circuit board on the outside of the drive fails. Then all they have to do is find an exactly identical circuit board, put that on. That happens more often than you think. If they don't have to open the drive, they don't need the clean room environment, they don't need the bunny suits, so that's going to cost you less. But, of course, you have to find somebody who has exactly that circuit board. Those are the hardware failures. A software failure, then there are a variety of those, often can be recovered. A very low-level software failure happens all the time on your hard drive. Every single day, boot sectors die. Something like SpinRite will go through, not fix them, but move data off. And then there's the higher-level errors, and I'll talk about those in a second. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're talking about hard drive failures, and they do fail. So I covered the hardware failures. Those are the serious failures that are really difficult and expensive to recover from. But there are software failures every day, every hour on your hard drives, especially as we get these bigger and bigger hard drives. They're more prone to failure. When you first get a brand new hard drive, there's already a map on that hard drive, a bad sector map, where errors on the hard drive at the factory are, and bad sectors are a portion of the hard drive, are mapped out. Say, don't use these. They come with a list of bad sectors. All hard drives start with bad sectors. But then, as you use the hard drive, it accumulates more bad sectors. Now, what's really bad is if that bad sector happens on a part of the drive where you have data. And what's really, really bad is if that bad sector happens on a part of the drive where you have Windows. You can actually have a non-booting drive. So a program like SpinRite, which is a very low-level program, doesn't know anything about file systems, doesn't know anything about operating systems, only looks at the sectors, says, can I read that? No, can't read it, so then it tries again. Can I read it? No, can't read it. Tries again. Keeps trying until it can finally, and sometimes this could take hours, read that sector. And believe it or not, persistence often pays. Once it reads that sector, it moves the data off and says, don't use that anymore. It adds it to the bad sector table. So that SpinRite can often kind of fix, not really fix, but seem to fix a drive by finding bad sectors or marginal sectors, moving data off, and then marking them bad forever. They're never going to be used again. And presuming, sometimes that can take days. I've heard of SpinRite taking months or even almost a year to fix a drive because it has to keep trying until it gets that data off of it. Now, that's another kind of error. Now, there's another kind of error that's a higher level error, file system error. Windows makes a mistake, or you accidentally erase your drive. Those are much more easy to recover, but you need to not SpinRite, because SpinRite's only looking at the sectors. It doesn't know operating systems. You need a program that knows the operating system, says, well, this is what a file allocation table looks like. This is what a file looks like. This is how to backtrack through the links of sectors to reassemble the file. It needs to understand the particular operating system you're working on. Test Disk will do that, and in fact, that's why Test Disk is kind of amazing. It looks at all the different operating systems you might be using, Windows, Mac, or Linux, and can recover almost any kind of messed up file system. So there's the hardware errors, there's kind of the sector errors, the disk level errors, and then there's the higher level operating system errors. And you need to use the right tool. The higher you get, the cheaper it is. In fact, a good file recovery or program like Test Disk is free. All right, I'm sorry to have to do that. Scott Wilkinson is here. He's our home theater expert. And I just wanted to get that out of the way before we talk to him. Scott was here, and I hope you heard last week we spent 3 hours on home theater. Hey, Scott, how are you? You got home okay?
Leo, it was great fun last week. I had a great time.
We had a blast. Yeah, in fact, we made a podcast out of it. So for those of you who didn't hear it, you can go to your local radio station and listen, or twit.tv and listen to the Tech Guy show from last week. So what do we want to talk about this week?
Well, I got a bunch of stuff to talk about and very little time to do it, so let me zip on.
Okay.
First of all, I want to hip everybody to this week's vote on ultimateavmag.com. And the vote is, have you heard an improvement in an audio system by using exotic, and by that I mean expensive, audio cables? Big debate in the audiophile world, and I'm not asking if you think they make a difference. I'm asking, have you heard a difference? And there is one possibility there on the site, which is, I don't have enough experience to say, because it's a pain in the butt to swap cables in and out to say, well, okay, now I'm going to use a 14-gauge zip cord from the hardware store. Now I'm going to use $2,000 monster cable. Can I hear a difference?
And not to mention, probably most of us don't have $2,000 monster cables.
Well, there's that too, yes.
so it's an expensive test.
It is an expensive test. However, maybe you have a friend who has $2,000 monster cable or something like that, or maybe you go into a store and they're willing to do a swap like that. It's a very interesting question. The possible answers are yes, and I've heard a big improvement. Yes, but it was a slight improvement. I didn't hear any improvement, and I don't know. I haven't been able to tell. I haven't had the experience to know. And I think I haven't heard any improvement is the most popular response at this point. But I'd love people to go and vote and leave a comment if you have some experience in this area or an opinion on it. Please do leave a comment. The next point I want to make sure everyone knows is that tomorrow is the last day to enter our sweepstakes to win a Logitech Harmony One remote. I know, Leo, you've got a Harmony One.
I actually don't. I know I've played with them and reviewed them, but I don't own one currently. I probably should. I have 6 or 7 remotes. You know what I do have is the Logitech Review, which is in effect a Harmony remote.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I'm still waiting to get my review unit of the Logitech Review Google TV thing, by the way. And I know you're not a big fan. You've tried it and you haven't really liked it.
No. I own them all. I buy them all too. And I bought the Apple TV, the new Apple and the old Apple TV. I've got the Roku box, every version ever made. I've got I just got the new Boxy box, and I haven't set that up, but I'll give you a review of that next week.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm very intrigued, but I have to say, none of this is going to make much headway until the networks allow these companies, these internet device companies, to put the network programming on them. And
that's exactly right.
And they're blocking it in every case.
Yep. Speaking of Roku, you had a call yesterday. I was on the road, and I wanted to just make a little addition to what you said to this caller who said her husband's retiring. They live in Yosemite area. She's getting a big screen TV, and you said to get a Blu-ray player and a Roku box. And I wanted to call in and say, but wait a minute, if you get a Blu-ray player with internet access, that will give you what the Roku box would give you, more or less.
Well, not all of it, but it would give you Netflix.
It would give you Netflix. It would also give you, probably, depending on which Blu-ray player you got, each company has these arrangements or agreements with content providers.
Right.
So they all give you different sets of online content. But
so which one do you like? Which one has the best online content selection?
Well, you know, I haven't done that much research on it yet. I've got a Panasonic in right now that I'm going to start working on. I think that Panasonic and Sony and Samsung are the ones that give you probably the most content. Now, precisely what's the difference between them in terms of content, I don't know yet. I'm going to be looking into that over the next couple of weeks. But it would be one way to eliminate one box is what I wanted to say.
I still like the Roku a little better than anything I've seen on a Blu-ray player.
Sure.
Just as I like it better than anything I've seen on a TV. You probably, if you buy a TV today, you're going to get Yahoo widgets, or if you get I think, is it Samsung that's doing its own thing? Some of them are doing their own thing.
Right, but most of them give you access to Amazon. I know you mentioned that yesterday.
Yep.
A lot of them give you access.
That's nice. I have to say that's nice.
That's nice. YouTube, of course, almost everybody gives you access to that. I don't find that very compelling myself.
No, if I'm going to watch YouTube, I watch it on a computer. I'm not going to watch it on
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure I want to see YouTube on a giant screen.
No, sorry. But, you know, it's interesting because Google does want this. In fact, they've got this new YouTube lean back experience that is a very simplified, clean version of YouTube designed to be put on your big screen TV.
Really? Where do you get that? At Google?
Yeah, it's from YouTube. If you Google YouTube lean back, I think you can go to that version of YouTube. I'll have to check with that.
Okay.
And I suspect that Google is saying, well, criminy, everybody's blocking us. Maybe all we could do is put our own stuff up there and hope that networks eventually use YouTube. Maybe that's the solution.
Could very well be.
Scott Wilkinson, editor-in-chief of the Ultimate AV Magazine, ultimateavmag.com, hometheatermag.com. Take his poll at ultimateavmag.com, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy.